wilderness of Texas is the land of the buffalo, the armadillo, bobcats, and coyotes. But for one resident of Ranger, Texas, the species that have made themselves familiar to him are anything but ordinary.
I'm the real Ronny Dawson, and this is my real story.
Ronny Dawson, an ordinary man by most accounts, has journeyed into realms few have dared to imagine. His encounters began with sights of unidentified flying objects, and it wasn't long before these craft and the inhabitants within began to make contact. After witnessing these craft, Ronny's home became a stage for an alien invasion, an experience that thrusts an unassuming human into the role of a survivor and reluctant hero in his own dwelling. Frequent visits and abductions by various races of interstellar inhabitants left Dawson bewildered. In fact, Dawson may have the most biodiverse encounters in all the abduction phenomena. Some of the fantastic species who have made contact with him include blue lady species. These beings stand an impressive 6 feet 6 inches tall, with large, piercing blue eyes and skin to match. Cat lady species. This species includes individuals with tan or white fur. They boast a muscular build and have a humanoid body structure, but with feline characteristics such as a long tail and a lion-like mouth, complete with whiskers. 18-inch insectoid invaders. These invaders are known for their robust exoskeleton shells, which are outfitted with thorn-like appendages. 40-foot alien praying mantis insectoid. Towering at 40 feet, this species resembles a gigantic praying mantis. Their size and form make them an imposing figure in any interstellar encounter. 20-foot canine bull creature. This formidable creature combines features of a canine and a bull, measuring 20 feet in length. Tube-eyed fatties. Characterized by their large, obese bodies, this species has distinctive tube-shaped eyes that provide them with a unique visual capacity. You could arguably say that Ronny Dawson is the most abducted man on planet Earth. The tale takes a further twist into the bizarre during an event in February 2020, when Ronny claims to have undergone conscious interstellar travel. Transported onto an alien vessel, he was placed into a clone replica of himself, featuring alterations most extraordinary and peculiar, a 17-inch augmented, lower member. In the spring of 2021, Ronny Dawson stood before a gathering at the UFO Megacon in Nevada, not just as a man, but as an abductee who was cloned and bred across the cosmos. So, as we reflect on Ronny Dawson's extraordinary experiences, we are reminded of our perpetual quest for knowledge, the resilience of the human spirit, and the ever-present question echoing through the cosmos. Are we truly alone?
Welcome to Paranormal Gateway Paratalk. I'm host Scott Wise, and very special guest tonight is Ronny Dawson. Ronny is a Hazardous Material Transport Operator from Ranger, Texas, whose life took a dramatic turn after a series of extraordinary encounters. In 2009, while traveling through rural Texas, Ronny witnessed mysterious lights that soon revealed themselves to be of alien origin, including a first-hand sighting of a cattle abduction. What followed was a series of astonishing and terrifying events, a failed laser experiment to test the propulsion of a UFO, a chilling home invasion by insectoid beings, and multiple close encounters with massive, silent craft. Over the years, Ronny has documented his experiences through photos, videos, and his book, The Ronny Dawson UFO Story. His account has been featured internationally, including NBC's First Look and Japanese television. Strap in, his own story that challenge the limits of reality. Welcome to the show, Ronny.
Yeah, quite a story there, Scott. And I tell you what, living through the experience is completely different. I mean, I have to compete with people who are out there making stuff up. But I mean, I've seen ET up close and personal. I've seen their ships, man. I mean, right on me and covering the sky above my head, and my knees were shaking so bad I wanted to run and crap myself. And I tell you what, man, it's fun chasing ET, and you got all these people that want to see a ET and everything. But man, I mean, once that ship comes over your head and you look up in the air and you see it blocking out the stars and the sky, and you realize that this thing is not from around here, you start thinking about your life, and I may be going away for a while. I don't know what their plans are with me, and it's scary. It's actually quite horrifying, and I still have. Whenever a street light or something comes on, I freak out like, oh crap, they're back, but then I have to check myself and go, okay, hold on, man. It's just a street light. Come on. But some of the stuff I've seen, it would probably, I don't know. Some people would probably been terrified to the point they'd been in an insane asylum if they would have seen what I've seen and went through what I've went through. I managed to deal with it by just toughing my way through it, and I know people have a hard time believing it, I don't want people to have to take my word for it. And that's why I've got the pictures and the videos. Every chance I get, if I can record some of it, I'm going to record it. If I'm on a ship and I can grab an ashtray or something like that, trust me, I'm a guy that will do that for you, but I think they know that too. The ET know that. And one of the things that really frustrates ET is they can't tell me something to tell you, then the whole world believe me. Everybody thinks I'm a liar. Everybody, nobody wants to take your word for anything. And it's frustrating to them because there's 8 billion people on Earth and they have to talk to every damn one of them. They can't tell somebody something to pass it on to the rest of us because we all think everybody's a liar, Yeah. And it don't matter who you are. They could tell Trump something and Trump would probably, go live on stage on camera and say, hey, the ET told me to tell you all this. And everybody be saying, Trump done lost his mind again, so.
Yeah, when I see one, and I'm not going into one, but I want that experience. No way.
Yeah. But the truth is getting the word out there. I mean, people have a right to know. There was a time where I considered not telling anyone because it seemed like everybody I told thought I was crazy or losing my damn mind and everything else. And it was like, what's the point of telling anyone? But then I thought, man, what if there's an alien invasion and a lot of people die and a lot of people get killed, and I knew that we were being visited and I didn't say anything, I'd have to live with that, And I'm like, okay, I'm going to tell you what happens, whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, And if you don't want to believe it, then don't. But, if I can help you, if I tell you what's going on, I think people have a right to know what's going on. If I'm just an ordinary old guy, and I don't know why these damn ET singled me out like they did. And but like I said, I worked with the ET, and I told them, I said, I'll do whatever it takes for the people of your world and the people of our world to be friends, And they took me at my word, and my God, I didn't know what I was getting myself into because they've taken me off planet and put me in a clone replica of myself at one point, and my God, it can't get no weirder. It can't get no weirder than that. And I'm the type of guy, man. I thought if your spirit left your body, you're dead. It's game over. I had no idea that your spirit could leave your body and they could be transported somewhere else and put into something else. I tell you, I'm a virgin in that aspect, but having to go through that, I realize now what they're doing and how they do it. And like I said, these guys come from another dimension, and to be able to dimensional travel, you have to be able to control your physical mass. So they reduce their physical mass to like a ghost state where they could be in the room with you. They could be walking around with you. They could hear everything you're doing, see everything, hear what you're saying, see what you're doing. And you wouldn't be able to see them at all. They're almost like a ghost because their mass is so lower because they can, I guess it helps them travel and stuff like that. And it protects them too, because if you shot a gun at them, the bullet would go right through them and it wouldn't kill them. And so it's a safety feature. It allows them to travel at the speed of light and do all sorts of other stuff, So I understand. And And I've been in that transmedial state where I've actually walked through a wall. They taught me to walk. Um, I was talking to the blue lady. She said, "Yeah, you just walk through that wall right there, and you could be able to see my planet." And I'm like, "What?" Yeah, just walk through the wall. You can walk through the wall. And when I was moving through the wall, I could feel the sheetrock passing through my skull and my stomach, and it was a very uncomfortable feeling. Moving through solid matter in a transmedium state that I was in, it didn't hurt, but it was very uncomfortable feeling stuff inside you that you never felt before. And when I think she meant it was a misunderstanding, really. She meant for me to look through the wall. She didn't mean for me to walk through the wall. And I took one step too many, and I ended up, and I was outside in outer space, floating in zero gravity, and it was in our galaxy. It was somewhere else, man, because I could see a black hole in the sky. I could see a planet off to my left. It was a small planet. It had 3 major continents. I could see the thin oceans, but separating the continents, and I was floating in outer space, but it wasn't like I could breathe. I wasn't freezing. It was because my human body was still asleep in the bed. They pulled my consciousness out of my body, and it was like, man, it was. I don't know where the hell I was at, but I wasn't anywhere around here. I'm pretty damn sure. But going through that experience is quite a wake up, because I was wondering how the hell I'm going to get back in. Because I was out there floating in zero gravity, and I was worried I was fixing to float off in my God knows where. And anyway, they ended up grabbing me by the shoulder and dragging me back through the damn wall. And it felt good to be back. It felt good to be back after being there. But I got to see some stuff that normal people don't get to see. And there's a black hole in there, a clear view of their sky, and it's beautiful and scary at the same time. I think my camera just died on me again, didn't it?
I can still hear you. So I can hear you, but I can't see you. But it's okay. I mean, you keep going. It's just get loose.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here, man.
That's all right. So back, what was your life back in 2009 before the encounters began? I mean, did you believe in UFOs or extraterrestrial life, or no?
I've been working out in the oil field at night, and I've seen meteors and all sorts of stuff coming in, and I wondered a lot of times. I wonder if that's a UFO or if that's just a meteor. What is that? But then at one point I seen the space shuttle come in from Florida, cross right over Texas, and I saw what it looked like when the space shuttle comes in at night, and I'm going, I have never seen anything that looked like that. So at that point, I kind of didn't really believe in UFOs, because a UFO would have looked like our NASA craft coming back in, and I never seen anything like that before. And I'm going, wow, okay, if that's what a craft looks like coming into our atmosphere, then all the stuff I've been seeing is not. So I kind of went, after I saw that, like, okay, I ain't never seen anything like that. So ain't nothing UFO that I've seen. And but in 2009, I started seeing weird lights up in the sky doing weird things and moving around and dropping to the ground and popping back up and then disappearing completely. There wasn't any explanation for it other than it's just some weird activity. And I mean, I work out in the middle of nowhere, so it's not like it's going to be a drone or something like that, man. Who'd want, drones weren't even popular back then, but so I'm seeing these lights moving around out here and can't explain them. And then I seen a cattle abduction. They went over and they shined a blue light down and they grabbed a cow and they picked this cow up. And I watched this cow rise about 30, 40 feet up in the air, and it was shaking its head. It wasn't like enjoy being lifted. And it was shaking its head from side to side. And I was watching this out of my truck window as this thing was being sucked up into this craft. And I said, oh, crap, man. I don't know anything that could do that other than a UFO, And I really wanted to sit there and watch it, but I was kind of scared. I was like, man, they're going to get a cow. Maybe they'll come get me next. So I was like, I really wanted to get the hell out of there. And I did. And I was watching the sky over my head, afraid that damn thing was going to show up at any time, And yeah, it scared the hell out of me. I mean, my God, man. It was a blue light, and it was lifting that cow up, and that cow was 30, 40 feet in the air, and it was whipping its head from side to side. And it's the scariest damn thing I've ever seen, you know? So it was like, I could be next. So I don't want to go there. So at that point, I really, you know, I like, okay, this is ET. And I started making reports, but man, you start getting confronted by so many people that think you're a liar and you're making it up and you're doing it for attention. And I had a YouTube channel before I ever saw a UFO. So my YouTube channel didn't have a damn thing to do with UFOs at the time, you know.
Right.
And I'm not damn sure I'm not trying to make any money. It's been more of a hassle than it's been anything. I mean, I've got invited to speak at some conferences and stuff like that. That's great. And I got a chance to show some of the pictures and stuff that I've taken. And man, I guarantee you, if you've never seen my pictures, just Google images, Ronny Dawson UFO pictures, man. I guarantee you, I've put it out there for the whole world to see, and they ain't made a dime off none of it. And I can guarantee these are pictures that I took myself on my phone, up close and personal, with ET, you know. And I mean, you can not believe Ronny Dawson, but that's it. Do it at your own risk, because now, you know, we got government people coming out and everybody else. So, but right now we've experiencers, we've kind of asked to be quiet. We've let the scientific community kind of take the lead, and I'm happy to do that. I mean, I love publicity as much as the next guy, but when we got guys like Gary Nolan out there, you know, doing scientific research, and if they can push disclosure better than I can, let's let them do it. And that's kind of the reason a lot of us experiencers, we've kind of stepped back and we've taken a back seat to the researchers right now. We're giving them a chance to, you know, try to bring disclosure to a head. So I don't mind doing that. I mean, hopefully I'll be alive for a while to tell my story when it comes time again.
All right. So you think that your job made it more frequent for a chance to see these because of where you're at? I drive around in this different areas.
Well, you know, it's hard to say. I think they're They were in our area. I think they're. It seems like drones and stuff like that. Like they were taking soil samples, because I seen them drop to the ground for a second or two and then pop back up. Like they were taking samples out of farmers' fields and stuff. And I seen some of the locations that these UFOs were hovering. And I went back in the daytime and looked at exactly why was this UFO there. And there'd be like an oil well. So they're like looking at our oil, you know, and that's what I do. I haul crude oil for a living. So I'm out there loading crude oil in my truck late at night. That's being pumped from thousands of feet below the ground. And they're probably wondering, what are they doing? You know, what are these earthlings doing with this damn crude oil, you know? And we're making energy out of it, but to them, it's probably a big waste, because to them, they would probably want it for the DNA and stuff in it. I mean, you could reassemble the DNA, and you could make animals and plants from millions of years ago that don't even exist now, you know, through the genetic material of crude oil. They probably think we're ridiculous, man, just wasting it, turning it into fuel. You know, so who knows what they think? But I know they seem like they're interested in it, because I've caught them out there in their UFO craft hovering over oil wells in the late night. And I was smart enough to realize that UFO ain't there for no reason. And I went back in the daytime and knew exactly where it was at, and said, okay, what's this guy doing? And he was hovering right over an oil well. There's an oil well out there. They were sitting right on top of it, checking it out. And one time I seen one that was hovering, and I went back in the daylight and looked where he was at. He was over a water tower. He was over a rural water tower. And I'm like, I wonder were they still in water, or are they just trying to figure out what's in that tower or what, you know? But, you know, I try to put two and two together and I try to get to the whole story, you know. When I look and I see these UFOs, I go back in the daylight and see exactly what the hell are they doing there? You know, they're not just going to hover over a field for no reason, you know. So trying to get to the bottom of it, you know. And every time I get a chance to get a picture of them or whatever, but you have to realize it's hard to get a picture of them. I've sat there and I've had one within 100 yards of me, and I was acting like I didn't see it, even though I could clearly see it. And And I thought, well, I'm going to grab my phone off the dash of the truck and I'm going to record it. And as soon as I grabbed my electronic device and jumped out of the truck and was pointed at the damn thing, it did a 45-degree tilt and just disappeared, before I could even get my camera up and running. So that lets me know that I'm watching them, but they're also watching back,
All right.
When you grab your electronic device and try to record them, man, they blink out quick,
Remember the old camera shy.
Yeah. But I'm happy I've managed to catch some pretty good video. I've managed to catch some good footage. And some of the footage I have is UFOs with huge aliens on the surface of it. But these things are so huge, they couldn't be anywhere else. I mean, some of these things are 20 feet long and 10 feet high. I mean, it ain't like they could go below deck,
Yeah.
It ain't like they're flying around in a tin can like we do either. They're flying on a rock. That's the size. My God, it looked like this one rock. It was a mile long and it was kind of boomerang shaped and looked like it had a city built on the surface of it. So and on top of the surface of it, these huge alien creatures. Some of them were 40 feet tall. And first time I saw that, I'm going, that can't be what it looks like. And I had people saying, man, that looks weird, man. You need to check into that further. And I started looking at different software to clear the images up and stuff. And when I did get some pretty clear shots of what the hell it is, it ain't nothing like that around here. There's nothing on Earth that looks like that.
Right.
These are creatures that nobody's ever photographed before on a UFO taken by me with my camera. And people say, you're a liar, Dawson. You're making it up. You're trying to make money and all this crap. And I'm going, well, I guess my camera's a liar too, because my camera backs up. My camera pictures look exactly what it looked like with my naked eye. So I mean, the pictures aren't great, but they're not bad either. I mean, they're clear enough. You can see some stuff that you can't identify, and you ain't going to be able to identify because it ain't from around here. This is something from somewhere else. And as sad as it is to say it, that's the truth. This thing is from somewhere else.
Yeah. Here, I see your camera's out, but can you see me still?
I can see you, but my camera has quit working for some reason.
Okay, because I get told on pictures of you. Actually, I want to ask you about what gave you the idea of using a laser on craft.
I don't know why it will not let my camera. It's been working. It was working earlier, and then it will stop working for some reason. And but the other night it was working great. It stayed on for a long time. I don't know why it's not working now.
Yeah.
It's like the software or something is.
Oh, it could be. Yeah, it could be.
I mean, I could. Every time I log out, I can log back in, and it will work. It will work for about 5 minutes, and then it will quit.
All right. Well, what gave you the idea of using a laser?
Yeah, the laser was the thing about the laser, man. I was having like when we were UFO watching and I used a laser, man, I was having like a 70% success rate. And I thought, maybe they could see the laser, so it was like, you want to call the ET to you by shooting your UFO watching, you're not seeing anything. And then I was firing the laser around, and then all of a sudden the UFO would show up, and I'm like, either are they seeing the laser? And I was doing this way back. I was doing this before Greer and the rest of these guys were doing it. In fact, I had some pilot guys like trying to get me thrown in jail for using a laser when I was UFO watching, but I don't point it at planes. I'm shining the laser up in the dark part of the sky, hoping it attracts the attention of something that will come pay me a visit, And I've had these pilots like coming after me, like I'm shooting the laser at planes, which I'm not going to do that. Nobody in their right mind would do that, But yeah, they singled me out, and then they had to take my name because I hadn't been convicted of anything, so they had to remove my name. But yeah, I had them coming after me for a while, man. I was hated by pilots, but I was, but now everybody's doing it, Now everybody's doing their laser thing, and it does seem like it helps. It seems like if you're out there UFO watching, you're not seeing anything, fire a high-powered green laser around, and they might just show up. You might get to see something, But definitely don't point it at a jet or a plane. My God, yeah, they'll come arrest you.
Oh yeah. I think you're Bristol.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you want to tell us about your home invasion?
Yeah, I wish I could get this camera working. I don't know why
I
it's not working.
have a joke with a little bit. Top one.
But I put this guy right here up.
Oh,
Let me
yeah.
see. Yeah, this guy right here.
Yeah.
I got to meet this guy.
Yeah.
I got to meet this guy about November 2 years ago, and apparently this guy's found out I've been talking to these ETs, and apparently they're not friends. And so he came over. This guy, he is basically a possession. I mean, he got into my body, and it was the weirdest damn thing
Yeah, it is.
I've ever seen. Yeah, it was like this thing is 12 feet tall, and
yeah.
this thing. It was a weird thing because I was sleeping, and the next thing you know, my consciousness said, "Wake up! There's something in here." I'm going. Usually, my conscience says, "Wake up! That's your alarm. It's time to get up." But my conscience said, "Wake up! There's something in here," and I'm like, "What?" And I about half woke up, and then I realized that I'm not alone in my body. There's something else in there. I could tell that I was like being hunted, and this guy fucking was chasing me around, and finally grabbed me, and he held me in a basket hold like he did that line right there, man. And I was trying to kick him, and I was kicking him in the growing area. And I mean, that's how tall this guy is, man. I mean, I'm 6 foot tall, and he had me in a basket hold like you put a little kid in, and I was kicking him in the growing area. And he had a plate. I don't know if this picture shows it or not, but back in the day, they had a plate that covered their growing area, and I was kicking this metal plate. And but this guy, he had the braided beard, and he had the braided hair, and he was big, and he was ugly and mean looking, and I thought he was fixing to disassemble me. I mean, as big as that guy is, he could have just pulled my arms and limbs off, man. I mean, but basically, he told me to shut up. They don't want me telling their story, and he said your little ET friends aren't here to help you. And I think this is an Anunnaki or a Nephilim, but
Okay.
I mean the guys that built the pyramids, and they're not friendly with these other guys, and they're not friendly with them. And he basically told me I needed to shut the hell up, and he said he went into my future to see how much trouble I was going to cause them. And then he told me that he goes, we ain't got to worry about that. He said, you're going to be dead at 65. And I'm just damn near 65 now. And I'm going, oh, that's not good. But I'm going, he said, yeah, you'll be dead at 65. He says, you ain't no trouble to us. You need to just shut up. And anyway, and then he left, and I was glad to get rid of him. But the other ET came back and said, "Look, man," I said, "Yeah, something's going to happen to you." But he goes, "We can stop it." He said so. And apparently, I'm going to have some kind of a what do you call that? I'm going to have like a blood clot in my right lung. It's going to move into my heart and cause some damage or something like that. And they said they could stop it by putting some kind of. So I guess about the time I get to be 66, if I'm still alive, I'm probably going to have some alien device in me, it looks like. So maybe I'll be able to get a scan of that thing or whatever, But I hope they put it in there. But if they don't put it in there, I guess I'll be dead, So
yeah, ready to get upgrade.
Yeah. So man, there's no telling, but
yeah, it'll be that's one of the Ronny's 2.0.
Yeah.
You want me to show us some pictures I got here?
But yeah, they're right there is when I went to the alien planet. When I went to the alien world, I came out of the black box there that you can see at the bottom left, and I was floating naked as a jaybird out in outer space. And there was a weird planet right there, very close to me. and it had 3 major continents and thin oceans, and then in the full view of their sky is a black hole or something that's acting like a black hole, and it's all these planets getting sucked into it. And my God, I never seen anything like that. It's beautiful, it's scary at the same time, you know. But part of that planet was a desert area, and part of it was jungle. And they said that the desert area was where they had a nuclear attack by when they went to war with another alien species, and they came from an interdimensional portal, and they fired on their planet, destroyed like a third of their planet with one nuclear weapon. It was so strong, and they did it just to show the other that they had an interstellar community, and they showed everybody, you know, this will happen. We did this to them, but it will happen to you if you don't do what we say, you know. So they came in there and tried to conquer them in their interstellar community. And these guys said they found us in 1947 because our nuclear testing sent light and radiation off one of their planets, and it scared them because they thought they were being attacked again. And they also warned me that they have defensive countermeasures set up, and when we do nuclear testing here, it sends light and radiation off into their interdimensional world. And they said, yeah, if that triggers their defensive weapons, it's not going to go well for us. So we're at big risk doing nuclear testing here, because if it triggers their defensive weapons, it's going to probably take a continent out or something, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And they said, yeah, we're going to protect ourselves, and we're sorry in advance. Yeah, we're sorry in advance.
Yeah.
But you did it to yourself. We didn't do it. So.
Yeah, you brought it on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my. I have still got here. I have one here. Oh, you do it on? Okay, cool. Let me get that one. I got that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good one.
That's the cat lady there. That was one of the two visitors. Yeah, these two ET, they pulled me out of my sleeping body for a conversation in my house one night. And I mean, it's the weirdest damn thing I've ever had to go through. I was literally outside my body having a conversation with two ETs up close and personal. And my wife, because I was working nights, so it's like 9 o'clock in the morning. I mean, the sun's up outside. My wife is up, and she's walking back and forth through our bedroom, and I could see her plain as day. I could see the clothes she was wearing and everything. But I'm sitting here talking to two ETs. My body's asleep in the bed, and she can't see any of us. She can't see or hear us. And they said that's where they watch us from. You know, I'm like, my God, they've been everywhere. They've been in the White House. They've been in Area 51. We don't have a clue. They could be right next to you right now. You wouldn't even know it. And I was outside my body, and there was my body sleeping in the bed peacefully. And I'm alive, and I'm talking to two ET outside my body. And I had hands, and I had arms, and I could move through the wall. I could literally, move through solid matter, which was weird as hell. But that's where these guys are at. That's the way they watch us. That's the way they travel. And I guess we'll learn. I guess we're all get used to it at some point. But
yeah,
to go through it the first time and live that experience, man, that's quite an experience, man. It's like because I thought, man, if your soul leaves your body, you're dead. It's game over, you know.
Yeah.
But I've seen that doesn't appear to be the case, man. You know,
right.
And so I'm willing to change my thinking once I see that, see the evidence that it's really not that way. So,
right.
And I'm going to put the blue lady up here. This is the other ET. There was two ETs that pulled me out of my sleeping body for a conversation. The blue lady, she had huge eyes. She had a big old red ruby glued to her right cheek, and she had a tattoo on her left cheek, and it looked like a diamond glued to her forehead, and her eye sockets were huge, and her eyes were brilliantly blue. I thought her eyes were black. and I got within 10 inches of her face just so I could look at her eyes closely. And she had white specks in her eyes, and she said that the white specks were actually radioactive bleaching, because her planet is very close to a black hole, and they get radiation bombardment pretty bad. So
Oh,
she had
wow.
these white specks in her eyes that are actually radioactive bleaching. So
Holy, wow. Because I could be a close up. Oh no, yeah, that's the kind of stuff I don't know what to do.
but
Oh, no.
yeah, these guys, yeah, they're very interested in our race, and they know, and the people of their world, and they talked about their science serves their people, our science serves money, you know.
Yeah.
So they kind of like scolded me on that, like,
Oh no.
our science serves the betterment of our people, and he goes, your science serves the betterment of the corporations, you know.
Yeah.
So they were like,
It's an almighty dollar.
yeah, they were like, why do your greatest minds pursue money instead of
All right.
progressing? But the people of their world want to meet the people of our world, and they're working towards making that happen. And the great thing is they're already working on. They're not just whenever they meet us, they're going to have the means to take us to where their world is, and so we'll get to hang out. I mean, it's not like. But I think it seems like what they're doing is like, and they told me they need large genetic samples from the masses of the population on Earth. They don't need it for one person or two people. They need genetic samples from everyone. And I think they're trying to make like a genetic clone where they can put our consciousness into it. And so it will be like a means of interstellar travel for us. Like they'll have a clone that will accept many people. You know, right now they have a clone of Ronny Dawson, and they put my consciousness into it, but they can't make 8 million or 8 billion clones. They can't make a clone for every person on Earth. So I think they're trying to come up with a way to make a genetic clone where they can put anybody's consciousness into it instead of having a clone each individual person, which is what they did in my case. But they put me in my alien clone on that alien planet, and like I said, the weird thing was it had a 17-inch penile augmentation, so it could better interact with the cat ladies, because the cat ladies apparently are having reproductive issues, and they're trying to solve that. So anyway, they took my genetic clone, they put a 17-inch alien penile augmentation on it, and they put my body in this thing, and it was a function test. So I got thrown in this alien body on this alien world, and first right out of the box, they want me to go have sex with some volunteer alien cat lady. So, man, you think who could make that up? I mean, I am not creative enough to make that up, you know. Yeah. And but that's the kind of stuff that's going on out there, you know.
Yeah.
And people are going, oh man, how did you make that up? I'm going, man, there ain't no way in hell I'd be talented enough to come up with that, man. You know, so I know this really happened. And but like I said, I'm working with these guys, and I'm staying in. They don't use me very often, but and they don't give me no warning when it's time to go help them out, man. Boy, I mean, they grab me, and they'll put me in that alien clone or whatever they want to do. And next thing you know, I'm on another world, man. I mean, another galaxy and another world. And the planet they put me on, it reminded me of Kansas, man. There was big rolling hills and tall grass, not a lot of trees. Didn't see any clouds, beautiful blue skies, and the air smelled fresh. And I seen there was another human there, some guy from South Africa. And he said, I guess you realize that this ain't Earth. And I said, I was wondering where the hell we're at. And he said, well, look up at that sun. He said, that'd be your first clue. And I looked up at that sun, and it wasn't near as bright as our sun. It was bigger than our sun. And you could almost look at it for a second or two without it hurting your eyes. And I'm going, yeah, that's not our sun, man. He goes, yeah, this is not Earth. He said, I'm not even sure where this is at. He goes, but this is not Earth. And I could tell by looking at that sun that it wasn't Earth. I don't know. That sun was It might have been a brown dwarf or something, way bigger in the sky than our sun and not near as bright. You can almost look at it for a couple of seconds without it hurting your eyes. And it was, yeah. So I was like, okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, this is it was a weird deal, but hey, you got to roll with it, man. I mean, I want to piss these guys off. I mean, I represent every man, woman, and child on planet Earth when I talk to these guys, and I respect it. That's a lot of responsibility right there because I'm not out to piss anyone off. And if people here don't blame me, that's fine. I'm going to represent you to the best of my ability, whether you believe me or not. If I'm talking to ET, I need to do a good job of it and be truthful, self-righteous, and helpful, and do whatever they ask me to do. You know. And if I get some evidence to bring back to you guys, hey, don't think I won't bring it, man. if they give me access to an alien pen or an alien ashtray and one of them UFOs, and I get a chance to bring that sucker back, trust me, I'm the guy. I'm the guy to bring it back for you.
I was on the alien craft, and I'll go back to this T-shirt.
Yeah.
There you go. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, got another photo you want to put up. I had a few of them.
But like I said, at one point I had an alien home invasion. And
oh, yeah.
Yeah, man, I tell you what, when you got them in your house and they got you paralyzed in your bed and they're ransacking your house and running around and they look like little 18-inch insects that are scary looking as hell and they're running across vertical walls. And it's not all fun and games, you know, it's pretty damn horrifying. And hell, to be able to live in my house, I had to go up underneath my house the next day to make sure there still wasn't underneath there, you know. And it was like, I had my gun, I had a 357, and I had a knife and a flashlight on my forehead, and I crawled up underneath my house because I was like, I can't live here in peace without knowing that these damn things ain't, you know, hid up underneath my house, man, waiting to ransack it again, you know. So I had to do a full investigation the next day after the alien home invasion to make sure these guys were actually gone. I looked in the attic, looked under the house, and they were gone. But I couldn't never sleep peacefully in this house again after going through that, thinking they might be hid up underneath my house and living up underneath there, you know. Yeah. These are some scary dudes, man.
Yeah.
And so I had to check it out.
Yeah. Wow.
And I wouldn't do that kind of crap if I was making it up, you know.
Oh, no.
Yeah, underneath my house is not a fun place to go, man. You don't want to hang out down there.
No.
There's snakes under there, spiders and scorpions, and not a great place to be crawling around. There's not enough room to crawl on your hands and knees. You kind of crawl around on your belly. You know, it's tight quarters, man. So it's, but shit, I had to get up underneath there and check it out, man. Make sure they wouldn't nest it up underneath there.
Oh man,
wow. It's scary. But you know, coming to the reality that I'm talking to ET. I've seen the ET. Well, you know, you got these Navy pilots and stuff like that. You know, they've seen a UFO and it freaked out about them. And I'm like, man, put on a pair of my boots. Yeah. Yeah, have them running around your house holding you hostage. Have them crawling, you know, pulling you out of your dream. Pulling you out of your sleeping body for a conversation now. Yeah, then you're up close and personal, man. You know, to a whole nother level, you know.
Right. Oh, yeah. There's a picture here.
I'm gonna
yeah.
What we got going on there? Yeah. Yes, I can press V. I'm pressing it, but it ain't. My camera is not working, so I don't know what's going on there. I tried.
It's all right. I have a picture here. What's this one?
Yeah, that was an image on the big mothership that I found later on, and it's some kind of a big horned creature that was standing up there on the top of the craft, you know. And I mean, this thing looks very stoic, like it's looking over the It's a mile-long craft, and it's up on a high point, and it's just standing there looking over everything. And I'm going, my God, man, that is pretty scary looking, really.
It is.
It's got horns. It's got big horns on top of its head, and like I said, I worked on some of those pictures, trying to get them to where you could see them better. Not trying to change the picture, just trying to increase the resolution on some of it.
Yeah, I see it. Wow. Huh. There's the other one here that actually I thought was pretty creepy. That guy.
Yeah, this thing right here is. Yeah, and I mean this is on the surface of a mile long UFO, and I recorded the picture from like a mile away, but it's when you got a mile long UFO and you're a mile away, you can't even get the whole thing in your camera's field of view. So all I got was like a third left-hand side of the craft, and you could see some of the structures on top of the craft, and the craft looked like a solid rock. On the bottom, it was solid rock. It was like they'd taken a rock an asteroid or something they found in outer space, blasted it into a boomerang shape, and then built a city on it, and they're flying it around like a ship. And this thing is like towering over the surface, and some of the structures on this thing are 2 stories tall, and this thing's taller than them. So this thing has got to be 40 feet tall, towering over the surface. And it's some kind of an insectoid. It's got arms coming out of its back, which a praying mantis arms don't come out of its back. A praying mantis's arms come out of its side or its front. And so this thing has these really long arm appendages that come out of its back. And I've sent this image to a zoologist, and he goes, I said, have you ever seen this creature? He said, I've seen every creature on planet Earth. And he goes, he said, I've never seen that. What the hell is that? And I told him got the picture from the surface of a UFO, and he didn't want to really talk to me after that. It's like, yeah, okay, I believed you. I was interested up until now, but as soon as I told him it was on the surface of a UFO, he didn't want to talk to me no more after that. But it's not a bad picture. I mean, it's just an alien being, captured on camera.
Yeah, looks like it has mandible, like an ant face.
Yeah, and like I said, I put like a sketch filter on it so that it would, better define it, and you could see the ant mouth on it when I put the sketch filter on it. So I drew the ant mouth picture, but it's actually the sketch filter that I applied to it. You can actually see the ant mouth on it, and so I didn't just make that up. I mean, from the sketch filter, you can see the mouth is like an ant mouth.
Yeah.
And it's the arms coming out of the back. It looks like a praying mantis, but the praying mantis's arms don't come out of their back. And
all right.
And this thing has huge arms on it, a lot of reach, man. I mean, because they were talking about how many digits it has, and it was like that's a lot of digits, and the digits a creature has determines how old the creature is, and so they're going, yeah, this thing has, if it's got that many appendages on it, it has been around for a while.
Wow. Oh boy.
And the zoologist was the one saying that. He goes, yeah, this thing, but that's not that bad a picture. People say, oh, it's a terrible picture. It's terrible. No, it's actually, you consider this picture was taken in 2011 on I think it was on a AT&T Tundra flip phone. So yeah. I mean, to take a picture of something at night and have anything come out,
right.
It's not a bad picture on an AT&T Tundra, but yeah, I got some pretty damn good pictures that night. I mean, they're not clear as hell, but they're not completely blurry either. You can see that there's something weird there. And I was out in the middle of the oil field working at night, it was about 10 o'clock at night when I started seeing UFO craft. I seen like 3 UFO craft in like an hour's time, and they were very up close and personal, scaring the hell out of me. And I thought I was fixing to be going away for a while. And my knees were shaking so bad I wanted to run through the trees, man. But my knees were shaking so bad I could barely pull off a walk, much less a run. So I just went and hid and took pictures from my hiding place with my flip phone. And then I thought if they come for me, because I thought they were coming for me, I'd just throw the phone and hopefully somebody would find the pictures and realize that what happened to me. I'll be gone. I'm not going to be here. People are going to be wondering where the hell I went, you know. And if they see these pictures on that phone, maybe they'll have a little bit of a clue that something odd went on. But luckily they didn't take me. But they put on a hell of a show for me that night. I guarantee it, man. And I wish I could take the world back. Wish I could take everybody in the world back with me and show them what I saw that night. And as I guarantee you, if you don't believe, you will believe. You will believe after you were with me that night.
Yeah. Well, love been there. Oh, my. Here's one. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, see that top picture there, that's on the very tip of the big ship. It was a mile long and it had a boomerang shaped craft. This is like at one end of it, at the very tip end of it. And you can see that it's got all these rock structures on it, and it looks like it's got a city built on it. And then there's this triangular ship. It looks like a docked ship that's like docked on this thing. You know, like there's several places on this thing where it looks like it has ships docked. It has smaller ships docked on this large ship. And that bottom picture, you see these all these glowing balls that are in this array. This is on the surface of the UFO mothership, and these white balls is what we were seeing cruising around our area over the treetops and dropping down to the field and popping back up. So here is what looks like a charging bay of these damn things that we had been seeing around there. And then off to the left of it, you can see a docked UFO ship on the craft. You can tell by the look at this thing that it almost looks like a bat, really. It kind of looks like a bat.
Yeah.
But this thing is actually docked there on top of that mile-long ship. It's just sitting there in the air while this ship is flying through the sky. It's just sitting there docked, you know? So I've got just dozens of pictures of that mothership that have just weird stuff on it that I was able to zoom in on and take a picture of. And it's like, man, this thing is plumb full of stuff that is all unexplainable. I mean, nobody knows what it is. Nobody's seen it before. And I'm trying to tell everybody, yeah, this is a mile-long mothership came over me, and I got video footage of it, you know. And whether you believe it or not, you know, you can call me a liar, but my camera, you can't call my camera a liar. It just took a picture of what it was being focused at, you know. So if I'm a liar, my camera's a liar too.
All right. What's this? Here's one that looks like another one of the insectoids or something. Is that what that is? Yeah,
that's a big 40-foot creature that's towering over the surface of the mothership, and that's a short glimpse of the mothership. And the big white light you see with the red over the top of it is sitting on a tower on top of the ship's surface that sticks way up in the air. And it had actually, you can't see it, but it had these blue glowing power lines like coming from it. They were stretching across the surface like extension cords. And this thing, that white light was sitting on top of a tower, and it was and it had these blue power lines hanging down, stretching across the surface of the craft. And that creature, man, I kept trying to get better images of it and using different software, and I think I got it cleared up good enough that you can see the arm, you can see the shadow of its arm being cast upon its own body from the light source. Yeah. And I'm thinking that's this is an alien. This is an alien creature on the surface of a UFO mothership, and I just can't believe the world ain't fascinated with it. I thought, man, when I took this picture, I thought everybody in the world would like, oh my God, everybody's gonna fucking trip out when they see this. But people just they're so ignorant. They just, oh, it could be anything. Somebody made something up. And I'm like, no, man, this is a UFO. This is a 40-foot alien creature on the surface of it. You can see its arms, and you can see the shadow its arms casting onto its own body from the light source. I mean, I don't know what it takes to convince people anymore. I've just about give up trying, really. I mean, if they don't want to believe it, there ain't nothing I can do to make them believe. All I can, if I find a dead alien, I can bring it to them. Maybe that'll convince them. But other than coming across a dead alien and presenting it to the public, I don't know how to convince them. I mean, photographs are apparently not going to convince them. And now that we got AI, anybody can come up with some, it could be anything now. It's like, so photographs are going to be even less believable than they are now, Yeah. But I caught this on a Motorola Tundra flip phone in 2011. And this is a UFO, and this is an alien creature on the surface of it. And people just refuse to believe it. I don't know. I wish they wouldn't. I wish they'd give it a look, But there's one picture of the ET that I took. He was looking at one of the small craft, approached me, and a light came on, and this head and shoulders alien is looking out of this window at me, and I took a picture of it. Well, Ron Fedel Enright, which is the Roman Catholic Church, the Sacred Order of Exorcists, contacted me, and he said that image that you're showing that's the Dark Lord. He said you don't need to be showing that image to anyone, and it's not safe for people to see that image. He said, but I know. He said, I've dealt with this being before. And he said, that's the Dark Lord himself, and you shouldn't be showing that picture to public, And I'm going, okay. I told my wife, I said, well, if my eyes turn black, I start crawling around on the ceiling and call this guy. He said, they will come and do an exorcism on me. And they said they got me on their watch list. They got me on their demonic possession watch list, which is not a list that anybody really wants to be on. I don't want to be on it. But I told my wife, yeah, if my eyes turn black, I start crawling around on the walls and shit, call this guy. So I would never turn down somebody willing to help, Just hope I don't need that kind of help.
All right. Here's one. It's cool.
Yeah, that's the sketch filter of the mouth, the alien mouth.
Yeah.
You see, I applied the sketch filter to it because it brings out details that you normally can't see on bad photos. And you can see that the ant mouth on it. So I realized that, after I run the sketch filter on it, you could see the alien mouth on it that you really couldn't see in the normal photo. Mm-hmm. But that don't mean it ain't there, because the sketch filter will let you see things that you can't necessarily see on blurry images. But that don't mean it doesn't exist. So I'm pretty sure that whatever this thing is does have an ant mouth. And you wouldn't want him to grab you because he's big, very big.
So what software do you use that?
What's that?
What program do you use, the sketch filter, to get a certain one user?
I was using lots of software at the time, trying to find, because what we were doing is like, I had a short piece of video of the mothership, and I had 7 crappy images, and by using different software, I was able to increase the image count to 21. So I had 21 images, and luckily in some of them 21 images, the camera's autofocus lens was in a better position. Mm-hmm. And you could actually, some of the best images I ever saw of the 7-second footage of the mothership, we got to see it for the first time ever, So, I took that 7-second image. I took that 7-second video and then got 21 or 22 still frame images out of it. and they were better quality than anything I'd seen so far. And that's when I started finding the animals on the surface of the craft. And we started working to clean them up and started applying the sketch filters and stuff like that, trying to see exactly what it really looked like, get a better reproduction of the image. Not manufacturing the image, just getting a better look at it, So, and a sketch filter worked really great in this instance because it showed me a good, clear definition of this creature's mouth. And you can definitely tell it's definitely, no doubt, it's an insectoid because we were already thinking it was insectoid. But after seeing that image of the mouth, we're like, oh, hell, that's definitely like an ant's mouth there.
Yeah. Wow. That's a good picture. There's one here.
Yeah, that's the being that was sitting on top of the mothership, just up there, just looking over the thing, and you can see it almost looks like a dragon, man. I mean,
it does.
If it ain't a dragon, I ain't never seen anything that looked like a dragon more than this thing looks like a dragon. And I was like, wow, that looks like a damn dragon, man. I don't know. I have no idea what the hell it is. Like I said, I was a mile away. I caught an image of it. All I can do is try to clear the image up and get it as much as a good look of it as I can. But you can see there that this thing is, it looks like you're looking at the back of it. You can see the horns on top of its head. And it looks like a damn dragon to me. I don't know, man. If it ain't a dragon, it's very dragon looking. But you can see the lights there where the charging bay for the charging bay is right there. It's above it.
Yeah.
You can see where the charging bay is in reference to the ship, and you can see you're looking at about a third of the left hand side of the huge mothership that's a mile long. So there's a lot of ship there, and it looks like a boomerang shaped craft.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot to see on this thing, man. I mean, so there's a lot to look at there because it's a big area, and there ain't any area on this thing where I seen anything that looked like something you'd see from around here. Every damn thing I've seen on the surface of this craft looks like it's from somewhere else. I mean, from the creatures to the structures to the charging bays to they had 7 huge. You see that smoke up there in the top left that's coming off? There's a huge row of flares that are like, it's like some kind of a refining process going on. And these huge giant flares are burning and the smoke's coming off of them. And you can't really see the flares real good there, but you can see the smoke coming off of what is the flare row burning. So it's almost like there's a refinery process going on this thing. This thing is huge, man. I mean, I want to fly with these guys. I mean, you can fly with Elon Musk if you want. These guys, they got swimming pools, they got bowling alleys, they got pizzerias. They got a city built on this thing, and they're flying it around like a jet airplane, and it's
wow. Yeah,
it's like these guys know how to travel, man. And how the hell they'd take a big rock like that and make it fly like a jet? Who knows what kind of propulsion they're using? I mean, I never heard nothing. I seen this thing stop dead in the air and then take off again. And it took off quick too. And there wasn't anything thrust. There was no thrust. There was no pushing. And in fact, this ship stopped right on the top of me. And when it took off so fast, you could see that it disrupted the air in the sky because it created a vacuum. It moved so fast, it created a vacuum. And you could see the air rushing in to fill the vacuum that it created when it moved. I mean, I watched this firsthand. This happened right over the top of my damn head, and you can see the air reacting to its movement, So there's no doubt this thing. I didn't imagine it. I've got it. I took pictures of it. I got footage of it. I saw it with my own eyes, and thought I was going to go away for a while.
Yeah.
Didn't know if they were going to take me, kill me, or what they were going to do with me.
Yeah, this last picture I have, I remember from reading the book about you're on the way home and you're trying to warn some people in a house by honking their horn.
Yeah, I was. That's it. After left the location where all this was happening, I was glad to get the hell out of there because I had seen everything alien related I wanted to see tonight, and I was in my truck and I had my load of oil loaded and I was heading to my station to dump it, and I didn't get about 2 miles down the road, and there's a double wide trailer over there, and I could see a light over the top of it. And I'm going, hold on, man, something don't quite look right about that. So I pulled the truck over and I was blowing my horn. I was shining my spotlight at this guy's house. I was shining my spotlight up here at this craft that was, it looked like it wasn't 200 feet over the top of their house. And I was concerned for what the hell's going on in there. I mean, there's an alien craft over the top of these people's house. The pickup was actually running outside. I was blowing my horn. I was shining my spotlight out at these guys, and I wanted them to come out in the front porch so I could point up in the air going, look, what the hell is over the top of your house? Well, I guess I was shining my spotlight on the craft itself, and I guess they realized that the gig was up. So they turned on the the circular lights on the bottom of this thing came on. And then this thing, you could hear it start buzzing, start humming, making a humming sound, and it started moving away. So this UFO figured that the game is up. They've been made. I mean, there wasn't hardly any lights on, but I could tell that there was something there. And when I brought my attention to this damn thing, was blowing the horn, trying to get the people's attention, and shine my lights on this thing. The ET, they figured out shit. We've been made. So they turned the white lights, the circular lights on the bottom of this thing, and it had a huge opening in it. The opening in the bottom of this craft was big enough. You could put a Cessna airplane in it. So the lights came on the inside of the craft came on, and I could see up in the alien craft. And there wasn't anything inside this craft that looked like it ever been touched by human hand. I mean, it had all this piping, and it had what looked like an inner eardrum. I mean, there was a piping that went into a tight circle, like the inner eardrum. And the inside of the walls looked like skeletal. I mean, it looked more like a skeleton than it did inside of an airplane or aircraft of any kind. I mean, I ain't never seen anything like this. There wasn't anything inside that craft. I was looking up in an alien craft, and the room was lit, and I didn't recognize a damn thing in there. I didn't see anything that I could recognize that looked like it ever been touched by human hand. And it was the weirdest. I mean, like, my God. And I watched this thing just move away slowly from their house. And I never did. The people never came out. I didn't know what happened to them. I actually talked to them like 3 or 4 days later, just because I wanted to know they were all right. And I said, man, let me tell you what I saw, And I would have got pictures of it, but I'd already filled my camera plumb full of video and footage that I had taken before, and it said memory full, no pictures available. Yeah, so I couldn't even get a picture of this thing. I just had to sit here and watch it with my naked eyes, and it would have been the best pictures I took all night, because I would have been able to take a picture of the UFO, and you could see up inside the bay door opening, and man, there ain't nothing in there I could ever recognize. It looked. Closest thing I'd say, you ever seen the Alien movies where, inside the alien craft? Yeah, that's more what it looked like than anything I'd ever seen, It looked like ribbing and stuff like that. It didn't really look like, it was like structures and struts, attached to the wall like we make our aircraft. So, yeah, it was amazing. I mean, you're talking about up close and personal, man. I got a really good look at this thing, and like I said, I had my light shining on it too, and this thing just absorbed the light. It was like my light would shine on this thing, and it would just absorb it. It wouldn't shiny, reflective, nothing like that, man. It was just like it sucked the light up, It was like you're shining on a black cloth or something like that. It just absorbed the light, completely absorbed. But it was definitely a triangle. I don't know what the actual craft looked like. I know the opening. was a triangular opening on the bottom of it. I don't even know how big the damn thing was. I really couldn't see exactly how big it was, but I know it had a triangular opening on the bottom of it with circular lights that went all the way around the triangle. And it was big enough that it was like you could have brought a Cessna airplane or something up in there, you know, a small UFO could have came up in there and, you know, docked there. So who knows, man? But yeah, I got a really good look at it. I wish I could have got a picture of it, but I just couldn't. Memory was full.
All right. Here's one. I like to sketch of the ship.
Yeah, that's a sketch of the mothership. And I talked to some people out in California, and they said, Ron, this is really important. We need you to like draw some images of what you saw. Draw some images of the stuff that you couldn't get pictures of. You know, and they said it's important, you know, so take some time, draw the best picture you can, you know. So I started doing some drawings of what I saw, and I'm not that creative and I'm not that great an artist, but I wanted to give everybody a good look at what the hell this thing looks like, you know. And seeing this thing fly through the air being a mile long, man, it's pretty ominous looking when you see it fly. It was scary looking. I'm like, my God, what in the hell? I mean, you're talking about an aircraft the size of a Walmart store in the parking lot. You know, this thing is huge, and it's got buildings on the surface of it. It's made out of solid rock. The solid rock looked like it was 20 foot, 30 foot, maybe 30 foot thick. I mean, if this thing would have crashed, landed on the ground, I mean, there wouldn't be no way to cover up. I mean, you'd have to build something over it, or you know, I mean, this thing was a monstrous craft, and I actually had a bunch that said if you ain't lying about this, you don't mind filling out a FAA low craft report, and they said let us remind you to file a false report is a felony, you know, and you can be prosecuted. And I said, well. Yeah, I ain't got no problem with that. Because I know what I saw. I saw it with my eyes. I know there's several radars within 100 miles of there. And I said, yeah, somebody had to have seen this damn thing. And I said, I got no problem. I filed a FAA low craft report. And I never mentioned the word UFO. I just said there was a very large craft, very low to the ground, dangerously close to the ground. And FAA did their little investigation, and we did like a phone conference call. And the FAA guy told me, he said, you should report your UFO sighting to Newfork. And I'm going, he just called my sighting a UFO because I didn't use the word UFO. I stayed away from UFO. Didn't want to say that. He did. The FAA guy told me, he said, I should report my UFO sighting to Newfork. National UFO Reporting Center. And I thought, okay, I think the FAA just confirmed that this is a UFO. That's what it sounded like to me.
Yeah. Oh my.
But it happened in Coleman County, Texas in 2011. I was at work hauling crude oil that night, about 10 o'clock at night when it all went down. And I mean, being up close and personal, man. I mean, and I've been trying to get pictures and video footage, and not any luck, you know. So I was so excited. That I actually got some footage and some video of the craft and stuff. And I was like, oh hell, my phone is loaded up, man. I did. I took so many pictures and shit. My phone shut down. It wouldn't let me record another picture. And I was thinking about deleting some of the pictures, but I was going, man, I was afraid I would delete the wrong one, you know. And I was going, man, I really want to delete some and get some more, but if I delete the wrong damn thing, you know, so I had to just watch later because I was out of I didn't have the ability to do any more recording. But let me tell you, that was a wild night, man. That was. I wish anybody could be there. It was fascinating. It mind blowing. I couldn't sleep at all, man. When I got home, man, I was so fired up. I couldn't sleep. I was I was making UFO reports and talking to people and sharing pictures.
I want to see for a freaking week, LD.
And I was like, I couldn't. I was too pumped up to sleep, man. So I never got to sleep.
Yeah.
Damn shame I couldn't have got more pictures though, because I missed some damn good opportunities. But back then the cameras didn't have a lot of memory. There wasn't a lot of storage in them.
Right.
So you fill them up quick, especially if you had some video footage. And I had that 7-second video footage of the mothership, and I damn sure didn't want to lose it or get it erased. And I tell you what, it has been a struggle to keep that. I don't know if it's the government or who the hell is. I've had computers crash and viruses. I've saved them pictures 1,000 times, and thank God I did, because they're way willing to disappear. I guarantee you that all the UFO images that I've taken, very susceptible to just disappear and off your computer. And I've had images just like, I don't know, it's like spoiled milk. Like milk goes bad. Well, the picture just goes bad. I look at the picture, and then all of a sudden I look, and the picture's like gray, and I'm like, what the hell? And it's like, yeah, the picture just expired. It just like spoiled, like a gallon of bad milk, you know? And I'm like, how does a damn picture expire, you know? And so, man, I started saving and duplicating and just share them and change computers and just move stuff over and save it to different software and trying to keep it. Because it seems like there's somebody out there that don't want it seen, you know. As weird as it is to say it, but I don't know how else to say it.
All right.
People don't want it. Some people don't want it seen, you know.
Right. Right. Well, it's good to get out there. Why I do my shows.
What's that?
That's why I do my shows. Get this stuff out there.
Yeah. But have you seen the picture I sent you of the metal sphere?
Let me see. The metal sphere. Is it that one? No, it's not.
No, it's a metal. It's a picture with looks like a metal bowling ball.
Try to hear something. That? No, that's not it.
That's one of the. No, that's one of the.
Here. Hold on. Here.
There you go. That's it right there. This is one of the things I've been asked not to talk about, and I've had to take some videos off of YouTube that I have, because this thing right here is a piece of a UFO craft, and some of the material has been given to Gary Nolan to do research on, and the government is very interested in taking this thing, and I know where this thing is at, and I've held this thing in my hand, and the guy who does have this piece of alien craft has been offered $5 million for it, just like it is. And if it passed some tests, the price will go up to $15 million if the government don't come in and take it first. Because right now, people want physical evidence. Well, and there's physical evidence out there. I know this is one of 3 different sphere samples that Gary Nolan is doing research on. And I've had to take some of my video down in agreement with them. They have, like I said, if these guys can bring about disclosure, let the scientists and professors, have a swing at it. I'm willing to take a seat back and let these guys, come forward with their testing and analysis and all that good stuff. And people get tired of it and they want to hear some UFO stories, and hopefully I'll still be here to tell them, but, I can't really talk too much about it because there's people that don't need to know where it's at. There's people that don't need to know that I know where it's at, because they will come hold me at gunpoint and make me leave it to it. So it's that's one of those things when it's dangerous to have some of this knowledge out here. But hey, that's a piece of a UFO, and I've got to hold it in my hand before, and I've seen it do some shit. I've seen this thing roll around the floor for 12 minutes. And I mean, just roll around on the floor for 12 minutes, you know. And this thing weighs 50 pounds. And also, I was holding this thing, and my son was banging on this organ over there, and he hit it. It sounded terrible, but he hit a certain combination of notes, and this thing vibrated like it was fixing to explode, and it scared the living hell out of me. It was shaking so bad. I mean, I dropped the damn thing on the floor and got the hell away from it, because I still wasn't convinced it's not unexploded military ordnance. You know, at that point, I was still doing research on it, trying to figure out exactly what the hell it is.
All right.
But the story is it came off. There's a UFO out in Taos, New Mexico, over this rural ranch house. Scared the hell out of people living inside. They boarded the doors up, thought they were fixing to get abducted, and the thing finally went away from their house. And by the next day, when they were brave enough to go outside, there was 11 of these things landing in their front lawn that came off of the craft. And this guy got one, and there was several other ones too, but the guy demanded it back a few days later, said he had to have it back or whatever. But so they got in a big argument, and but he didn't get it back. So this thing, we still got it. But if you remember the Bob Lazar story, Bob Lazar got hired at Area 51 to replace a scientist who cut into one of these things, and it exploded on him and killed him. Bob Lazar was hired to replace that guy. And it's just about the same time frame that these things appeared and disappeared. So we're kind of wondering if these things didn't play into, and I've been told by Indian physicists, he said, man, we've got some of these over in the Indian government has one. He said, whatever you do, don't cut into it. He said, I'm going, okay, I'll take your word for it. We're not gonna cut into it, man. He said, yeah, don't cut into it. He said, it's a nuclear battery. He said, it's a nuclear battery. And he said, do not cut into it. and just putting the pieces together and trying to figure out, you know, this sounds like the stuff that that Bob Lazar, that guy cut into one, it blowed up and killed him. And then Bob Lazar was hired to replace him. So maybe that's where those things ended up, over in Area 51, you know. But anyway, we got one, and Gary Nolan's got a sample of it, and got a sample of two other ones too. And from what they said, it's made out of common material, but it's put together in a way that that we don't seem like we have the technology to put stuff together like that yet. So,
All right.
So
wow. Yeah,
Gary Nolan's having to make the equipment to research this stuff, you know. So it's like, but you know, that's why stainless steel and all sorts of other metal. You know, we had iron. We started with iron, and we combined it with other things, and you know, that's kind of the way everybody else does too. So, but whatever it's made out of is it's put together in a way that nobody around here has figured out why and how to do it yet. So, but that's a cool thing. But I'm really not supposed to even be talking about this. Probably gonna get a nasty phone call about tomorrow, man. Hey, Ronnie, you said you wasn't gonna talk about it, man. So anyway, but
get off there. The guy's little that's your injections.
Yeah, that's I think it was in 2020 when they took me to the other world. They pulled my consciousness out of my sleeping body. They told me that they give me an injection on the back of my left leg. And it was, I think it was like I don't know if it was to protect me against the COVID that was going around at the time, or exactly what it was about, really. But I was on the other planet, and I looked at the back of my leg, and they said, no. They said, your body back there, you know? So, and I didn't really think about it, but after the whole ordeal on the alien planet, and they put me back, they sent me back the next morning. I woke up and my wife said, what the heck? She goes, you got something on the back of your left leg. And I looked, I said, oh shit, that's what they were talking about. You know, that's where they said they gave me that injection. So I said, we got to get a picture of that. So I got a picture of it. Triangle injection site that they give me. And they told me it was like a vaccination or something. To protect their interests, they said, because they went into all the trouble to make an alien clone of my body that's on this other world, and I guess they might need me again or something, and they don't want me to die for some stupid reason. But anyway, I have no idea what it's about. Exactly what the injection's about, really, but I definitely got a picture of it, you know, so substantiate my case, if nothing else.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Let's see. Just another one here. Picture. I can't see. Oh, here's the.
Yeah, that's a great thing about Link is Link shows me who's looking at me, you know, and apparently the U.S. Department of Homeland Security is looking at me. So.
Watch out, maybe your phones are stopped.
So if I'm just some idiot making up UFO stories, then why is the U.S. Department of Homeland Security looking at me? So,
oh boy, there was trouble, Ronnie.
But you know, whenever I get the evidence, they said, you know, save it, screenshot it. So yeah. So if I find the U.S. Department of Homeland Security checking me out, I'm gonna screenshot it. You know.
Yeah. Let me see. That thing more. Saw that one. Saw that one. Saw that one. See that one yet?
And we got these UFO lights that just show up. And a big white light will come on over your head out in the middle of nowhere. And I don't know exactly what it is. I think it's some kind of interdimensional portal that they're opening. To either take a picture of you or look at you, or I don't know exactly what they're doing. I know, but this big light opened up right over my location while I was working one night, and I was able to get a recording of it. So it's not ball lightning. I mean, there wasn't a cloud in the sky, you know, so it's just big white light that just comes on over your head. It stays on for a second or two and then goes out. And who knows exactly what it is. I have no idea what it is, but I definitely want to get a picture of it. And you can see there, it looks like it's some kind of a gateway from either somebody somewhere else is coming through something, or they're looking at you from somewhere else, or God only knows exactly what's going on with that. But that's a phenomenon that just keeps going on. It's still going on today in different areas. Big white light will come on in the middle of nowhere, you know, and then just go out. No, there ain't no plane traveling in, no plane leaving, and just a big white light will come on for a brief second in the dark sky and then just go back out with no explanation whatsoever. But a lot of times when they do, they'll come back on. They'll go out for a few minutes and then they'll come back on again, you know, so you can get a chance to get a picture of it if you can time it right. But I have no idea exactly what that is exactly, but I'm pretty sure it's a doorway to somewhere else.
Yeah. Looks like good could be. That's a good picture. Let's see. I think we saw that one. That one. We see that one? Yeah, I think so. One.
Yeah, this scary thing here is like this thing has got to be like 20 feet long and 10 foot tall. I mean, This is a monstrous creature on the surface of the UFO mothership. And it looks like a dog, but it's got horns like a bull. And you can see and you can even see the picture's good enough that you can see the muscle tone in its legs and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like I said, it was taken at night with a flip phone from a mile away, and so it's not going to be a great picture, but you can see well enough that. And the reason I do the sketch is to show you that's what I'm seeing, and that's what I'm seeing now. Maybe other people see different things, but that's what I'm seeing. So I draw a sketch of it so people can see that's what it looks like to me. What does it look like to you?
Yeah.
But this thing is walking around on the surface of this UFO mothership while it's flying through the air, and this thing is big. I mean, this is a big boy. I mean, from a mile away, he's big. I mean, if it was the size of a dog, you wouldn't even be able to see it from a mile away. But the fact that it was taken from a mile away tells me this thing is probably 20 feet long and 10 feet tall, you know.
Wow. It's huge.
One mean looking dude.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I want to fuck with that.
Well, like I said, you know, everybody sees these big almond eye gray aliens. I've never seen the almond eye gray alien, and all the aliens that I've seen, not one time have I ever seen the gray alien with the big almond eyes. Not one time.
Right.
And I've seen a dozen different aliens species, and not one time have I ever seen the gray alien with the big black eyes. I ain't saying that they don't exist. I'm just saying that that's not the ones that I appear to be dealing with. These are different. These are different guys here, man. I don't doubt those guys do exist, and I don't doubt that these guys may hire those guys to do contract work for them. You know, they make harvest eggs for them and stuff like that. These guys, they will hire lower species to do work for them because it's an intergalactic community that they live in. It's not just there's. And like I said, even the blue lady and the cat lady, they're two different species working together on the same craft. So, you know, they're not. These guys, I don't doubt they would use the gray aliens for contract if they needed eggs or whatever they needed. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't make a contract to get that kind of stuff. You know, I know they need a lot of genetic material from us, and they would rather us just donate it to them. But the fact is, they can't convince us that they're even here. And now that the other guys, the Anunnaki, have discovered that they're here and they're not happy about it, they're pissed off. And so they've kind of given me some space, and they probably, I don't know, maybe they're not contacting me as often as they did, but it may be because my cover got blowed. The Anunnaki knows that I've been talking to them, and they could be watching me. You know, so they could be booby traps set for them, or who knows what could go on. But I know my contact with them has been a whole lot less since the Anunnaki guy came in and threatened me. And I have no doubt they're probably scared that they're going to set a trap for them or something like that. So who knows? But hey, I'm willing to work with them. I told them I'd work with them, help them, and I have every chance. Every time they've asked me to, I've helped them, and been in some pretty weird. Been in some pretty weird situations because of it, but I'm for the team. I'm for all of us, man. You know, whether you believe me or not, I'm on your team. You know, and I represent you. Whenever I'm talking to these guys, I represent everybody.
Yeah,
and
just take one for the team, right?
Yeah, and I have taken one for the team. You know, the time I do, and people, oh, you had sex with the why? No, I said, you don't understand, man. This is not romantic kind of sex. This is the weirdest alien kind of damn sex in an operating room. Oh my God. Yeah. This is not what sex is supposed to be. Trust me. I know what sex is supposed to be. And sex is not supposed to be like that. You're not supposed to have sex in an operating room with doctors looking on. No, nobody wants to have that kind of sex. but that's
no camera audience.
That's the kind of sex you get into when you deal with these aliens, man. They're not into the romance thing, you know. It's going to be the most awkward, weird sex you ever had, and you're probably not going to enjoy it, you know.
Oh, oh boy. Yeah, you been through it, huh? Lord. My God. Well, I think I threw all the pictures. Maybe this is something not. Let's see.
But yeah, I didn't know how long a show you had going on tonight or whatever. So
Well, get on for whatever. Yeah.
okay, well we're a little over that. We're at 135 now.
That's fine. Up at the top, I have a QR, excuse me, a QR code that just scan it. Will go to Amazon to buy your book. So,
Oh yeah, yeah.
so
Yeah, like I said, I wasn't real excited about writing that book, and it's a memoir, and I wanted to because it seemed like they were trying to take me out at one point, and I was like, damn. I ain't gonna survive this, I don't think. So they're going, well, if you'll make a book, you'll probably be like an insurance policy. And it actually has been like an insurance policy, because if I get taken out now, the book's gonna get popular. So, the book was almost like an insurance policy. Yeah. So I ain't even really tried to sell the book. Haven't advertised the book a lot, and it's a memoir. And but I've sold books in like 12 different countries, so it's people are buying it, people are reading it, and right now they're supposed to be making it into an audio book. So it should be an audio book here pretty quick, so that truck drivers and people like that can listen to it without, while they're driving down the road and stuff. So
I enjoy it.
I signed up for the audio book thing on it, but I hadn't seen it come out yet. So that should be coming out here pretty quick.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
But, writing a book is a whole lot different than it used to be. Because, man, I'm the guy, I don't even know how to use Word. I had to learn how to use Word. And you got to be your own editor and your own publicist. And my goodness.
Yeah.
And then if you have 7 words, if you use 7 words in your book that match any other of 100,000 books, then you got to change them. So they got all these filters in there that make sure you're not copying other people's work and stuff. So oh man, and you have to go through all that process before they'll even think about publishing it. To make sure nobody gets sued. And so the plagiarism checker, you have to go through all that, and oh my gosh, man, I had no idea. It is a pain to be a writer nowadays, man. It's not fun. People are going, when are you going to write another book, Ronnie? I'm going, never. If I have it my way, I'll never write another book. It was such an unpleasant experience, man. I've never been so mad and frustrated in my whole life. I found out how illiterate I really was, because I've been using adjectives wrong for years, and when I wrote that book, it showed me, said, "Oh man, you're just barely illiterate."
Oh my, yeah. This is all AI now, so.
Yeah, right now I could just probably turn the book over to AI and say, rewrite me a bestseller, and it would probably do it.
Yeah.
Take all the work out of it. I was pulling my hair out trying to get all that done.
I bet. Oh my. Oh Lordy. Well, Ronnie. You want to wrap up here? And I'll put all links and stuff to your sites and Facebook and on your YouTube. When I get back to my Facebook page.
All right. Well, Scott, it's been fun. I enjoyed it.
Oh, me too. My pleasure having you on. And I'll get you back on. I'm sure I have more experiences. Tell me and try to get some more photos.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna keep trying. Memory
cards now have my camera can hold 1,000 pictures.
Yeah.
There was no excuse this time for a memory card.
And I've got security cameras set up around my house too, so that
that's cool.
try to catch some more footage and stuff. So
There you go.
I'm all about coming forth with the evidence. If I can come up with some evidence, trust me, I don't mind sharing it.
I'll start for sneaky bastards coming in.
Yeah. And hopefully one of these days I'll steal that ashtray off that UFO.
There you go. Yeah,
somebody will probably knock me in the head and take it.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
But hopefully I won't get in too much trouble for talking about the sphere.
Yeah.
But you have to. It is so cool to have a piece of a UFO in your hand. It's like people say, "Where's your evidence? Where's the proof? Where's the proof?" Well, when you can hold the proof in your hand,
right?
I've been wanting to get the sphere to a UFO conference. Let everybody hold it, And
there you go.
But they're they don't want to take it off the property for fear it'll be taken, and it might get taken anyway. We don't know.
Right.
The government's looking pretty hard at it right now. You could see the government knows where it's at, and they may come get it someday.
Yeah, maybe. So, alrighty. Well, we're gonna call it a show here, and we'll get you back home properly, and I'll send out all the links to your socials, and I'm gonna sign out here. And
all right,
nice to have you on again. I appreciate it, and had a blast. So we'll get
thank you. Yeah, thank you, Scott. Yeah, send me the link, and I'll share it away whenever I get it.
Okay, we'll do. Good night. Take care.
All right, appreciate it, buddy. Thanks.
Yeah.